Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, my subscribers on YouTube, my peeps on Facebook, and everybody at House Nerdum. This is my 2014 NCAA Men's Tournament Brackets. But before we get to the brackets, we do have 4 games to talk about, 2 which will be played tonight, 2 which will be played tomorrow night. So let's talk about them. At 6:40 tonight on True TV, 16 Albany takes on 16 Mount St. Mary's. I'm taking Albany to win this one. Unfortunately, remember, the winner of that game will face Florida, the #1 seed overall. After that, it would be North Carolina State taking on Xavier to see who will advance out of the 12 seed. Please remember, when you're making that pick, the winner of that game will be playing St. Louis. I am taking North Carolina State. I'm taking the Wolfpack to beat Xavier. Tomorrow night, I have Texas Southern defeating Cal Pow. And that game will also be on True TV at 6:40. Remember, the winner of that game will take on Wichita State. Then, of course, the other one, which will be a battle of the 11 seeds, Iowa versus Tennessee. I'm taking Tennessee. Please remember, the winner of the Iowa-Tennessee game will take on UMass. Now, let's get to those brackets. Now, the first 2 brackets I'm going to talk about will be the ones I consider to be my favorites overall to win it. In the first bracket, my selection was Florida will win it all. Florida's round bracket and mine will go like this. They will defeat the 16th seed no matter what. Then they defeat Colorado in the round of 32. After that, they defeat VCU in the Sweet 16. In the Elite 8, they take down Kansas. Then when we get to the Final 4, Florida will be taking on Michigan State. Creighton will be taking on Michigan. And I have Florida defeating Michigan State, then Creighton to win the title. So just remember, bracket 1's winner is Florida over Creighton. Number 2, I have Creighton winning it all. Yes, believe it or not, I actually buy into what they're doing. Creighton's road, they will defeat Lafayette, then Baylor, then Oregon, then San Diego State. The Final 4 in this bracket is Kansas over Villanova, Creighton over Wichita State. Creighton will defeat Kansas in the championship game. So remember, I got Florida and Creighton as my 2 favorites. Now the 3rd and 4th bracket are my wild card teams. These are the teams I am predicting that are the wild card, the dark horse, the team that most people will not pick to win it all. And the 3rd one goes to St. Louis. Their road will be as follows. They will defeat the 12th seed winner, Wolfpack or Xavier, then defeat Louisville, then Wichita State. In the Elite 8, they will defeat Duke. In the Final 4, stupid television. In the Final 4, St. Louis will defeat Oklahoma State. As far as to the other side, the Tar Heels will defeat Ohio State in the Final 4. But unfortunately, St. Louis will defeat the Tar Heels to win it. So that's bracket number 3. Bracket number 4. Excuse me. My winner's coming from the South, and I'm taking UCLA. UCLA's road will be over Tucson, then VCU, then Florida, then Kansas. In the Final 4, they will be taking on Villanova. On the other side of the Final 4, Wisconsin will lose to Louisville, but then UCLA will defeat Louisville. So keep in mind, so far, I have Florida, Creighton, St. Louis, and UCLA. Now, as far as for the 5th one, I got to explain how this one came about. My 5th bracket, and always my last bracket in college basketball, is always decided by the flip of a coin. So I'm believing that I always leave the 5th bracket up to Lady Luck. The coin. The luck of a coin, so to speak. So let's start with the South. In the round of 64, the coin decided that Florida, Pittsburgh, SF Austin, UCLA, Ohio State, Syracuse, Stanford, and Kansas would advance to the round of 32. After that, Pittsburgh, UCLA, Ohio State, and Stanford would advance to the Sweet 16. Pittsburgh and Pittsburgh and Stanford would advance to the Elite 8. I almost said Ohio State for some reason. I don't know why. Would advance to the Elite 8, but then Pittsburgh would go on to the Final 4. Over in the West, the coin decided that Arizona, Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, San Diego, Nebraska, Creighton, Oregon, and Wisconsin would advance to the round of 32. When we get to the Sweet 16, Arizona would play San Diego State, and Nebraska would play Oregon. The Elite Eight matchup for the West would be San Diego State taking on Nebraska, and representing the West in the Final Four would be San Diego State. Now, over in the Midwest, Wichita State, Kentucky, St. Louis, Louisville, UMass, Duke, Texas, and Michigan would go to the round of 32. For the Sweet 16, Wichita State would face Louisville, and UMass would be taking on Texas. For the final in the Midwest, it would be Louisville taking on Texas in the Elite Eight, and Texas, believe it or not, thanks to the coin toss, would defeat Louisville, so Texas is your representative of the Midwest, because of the fucking coin. And over in the East, Virginia, Memphis, Cincinnati, Michigan State, Providence, NC Central, Connecticut, and Villanova would advance. After that, Virginia would defeat Memphis, Cincinnati would defeat Michigan, Providence and Connecticut would win their games respectively, Cincinnati would defeat Virginia, Providence would defeat Connecticut to get to the Elite Eight, and the coin decided that Cincinnati would be representing the East. Now in the Final Four, the coin decided Cincinnati would beat Pittsburgh, and Texas would beat San Diego State. And in the finals, the coin decided Cincinnati would defeat Texas to win the championship. So just as a recap, my bracket is as followed: Florida, Creighton, St. Louis, UCLA, and Cincinnati. Let me know what you think of the 4 ones that are actually legit. What you think of the coin? Do you think Lady Luck is fucking with me on the picks made by a coin? Let me know what you think. Until then, good luck with your brackets, and I'll see you next time, folks. Woo!